Welcome to race number 2, actually it's race number 3 of the Mobil 1 Endurance Championship. Coming to you live from Long Beach, joined alongside Mr. Amping Up 88.
Oh my, Chris, we're back here on the beach and it's going to be a great day. You can tell, sun's up, fans are in, and oh my, Ocean Boulevard looks amazing today.
We've also got co-analyst here, Mr. Junior Norris.
How you guys doing?
Obviously, this broadcast, we'd like to start out here by thanking our sponsors, the Rain Race Podcast and Juul. Amp, I believe you have a couple words to say about our sponsor, Juul.
Yeah, I mean, they're a great alternative for adult smokers or anyone who likes to vape in a high school bathroom. Very discreet, looks like a USB stick, and awesome if you're trying to carry a little bit of nicotine with you and not be seen.
Alright, we had a hectic qualifying scene just a few minutes ago here. Amp, you want to run us all along that recap of qualifying?
Well, you got to look at Durable Monkeys, man. 113 in qualifying, 113.3. Absolutely flying out there around the streets of Long Beach, California. And he's definitely the favorite today over Ray Hall in the 114 brackets, I believe. And we're going to have a large field for prototypes today. It's going to be a hard race for those guys coming from the back because simply there isn't space to pass here. You have to make smart, educated decisions on where to pass. And in a 25-minute race, there's not a lot of time for that.
Shut up with your notifications, Junior.
That's not my phone.
Alright, Amp, whoever.
Please be careful going to turn one. You're not going to win the race in the first turn, as cliche and overused as that is.
Frank, you're not supposed to be here right now. What are you doing? Get off the live channel.
Just take it easy, be careful. If you're quick, you'll find your way to the front.
Get off the mic, fam.
You can hear the... Shut up, Chris.
Expecting a little technical
Live stream
difficulties
is up.
today, huh?
We'll be as soon as we can get that broadcasted to YouTube afterwards. But check Deductive Rain if you want to watch it. Please be careful.
And we go live in the game chat.
You're not in the lobby. Take it easy, be careful. Well, as soon as you get back in here, we're going to go, everyone.
Okay, so what you hear in the background there is the briefing of the drivers before the final moments of the green flag. Obviously, Frankie concerned with the safety entering turn 1. That's going to be the issue, Chris.
Well, yeah, obviously Long Beach is an extremely tight track. These guys, they need to find a way to stay consistent, keep it out of the wall. I know in qualifying we saw a couple of guys get thrown up in the tires. We saw some guys tapping the wall. You want to keep the car clean.
Here we are, getting ready to go here at Long Beach. We're looking through the field. Petty Blue 43 in the number 10 Chevy DP. JL Nation in the number 024 GP. Andrew Dazerkin, number 10 Chevy DP. AJ Racemaster, number 024 GP. Austin Balmer, the number 10 Chevy DP. Salty Pup GTO, being one of the pace cars for today, as well as Frankie Fresh, 332. A. Straighten in the number 10 Chevy DP. Deductive Rain, our streamer in the Porsche RSR, obviously irrelevant. JG Fan in a Chevy DP. And I Trash in a Ford DP. Here we are, getting ready to roll on the pace lap.
Yes, and we're looking at XXJL Nation 22XX right here. The field is going to get into their respective order based on qualifying results. We're going to be going towards the front of the field here, riding along with our pace car driver.
JG says can't wait to lag out. Well, JG, maybe you shouldn't watch the damn stream while you're racing if you don't want to lag out.
Entering turn 1.
And, of course, we have our timer this week. Not present for y'all viewers, but we will have an eye on it throughout the race. All right, Chris, you want to go?
Where we seem to have an issue here right now. No camera angles are working. Spectate mode isn't working. We're having some technical difficulties here.
Can we run through the starting lineup?
Yes, we shall. I'm going to try backing out and figuring out how to work this right now.
Well, obviously, Frankie leading him in the pace car's position around the field here. looking good today. All these DPs. They will not look the same in about 5 minutes' time. Fun fact about Long Beach. The fountain section built right next to an aquarium on Aquarium Way over there. Very nice aquarium. Plenty of aquatic life. Another fact.
That's interesting to know about, yeah. I like that.
Another fact
Never
about
knew
Long
about
Beach.
that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Another fact about Long Beach, all the streets remain open during non-race hours at the track, including the nighttime. And they close off the end walls right before the track opens.
Pace car
Nice
about to
field,
pull in
nice
here. The
field.
drivers are coming towards the line. Durable Monkeys leads them.
They're wrecking at the back, Chris. Wrecking at the back.
Wrecking at the back.
Looks like Quan
We've
they're
still
off.
got a
spun
green
out.
flag.
We're going to take the green anyway. Quan's still stuck in the hairpin.
All right. My camera angle still don't work.
So Durable Monkeys leads them down to the green flag against JG Fan and Ray Hall Fanatic, followed by Petty Blue and T-Sav the Outlaw. That's your top 5. Here they come towards turn 1.
Riding on board here with Durable Monkeys, your winner from Sebring. He's looking extra strong at Long Beach this weekend. See if he can go 2 in a row.
If anybody's abusing it during the race and cutting that every lap, then we'll be looking into that.
Are we talking Chilton Corner? I believe Frankie was discussing there Chilton Corner. Because Chilton Corner is what we call turn 5 here at Long Beach, I believe it is, Chris.
Yeah, you can see some drivers trying to cut the curbs a little bit. Obviously, Frankie's going to get pretty stringent on that. He talked to all the drivers after Sebring about cutting the track limits.
Yes, after Sebring, he had to. I mean, you looked at it, there was a lot of issues with corner cutting at Sebring, and currently, you're looking at Chilton Corner, one of the easiest corners to gain such a time advantage on in Forza Motorsport, just because you can get a different angle through there that gives you such a shorter way through that corner than what is actually mandated.
Right now, we're taking a look at A.H. Drayton. Oh, he gets it into the back. Actually, it looks like Austin Bomber just hit the back of him, but he's running in a Matra Simca throwback for this race. Pretty iconic livery from the 70s that ran at Le Mans. He's running that themed car at this race at Long Beach.
I'm on my way to that right now, and I'll be watching it.
Okay. Durable Monkey's in the lead here, Chris. He's got a strong car. A second clear of everybody in qualifying. Is anybody going to beat him today?
Well, it's going to come down to consistency, and I've preached this way too much. Austin Bomber 240 is in the wall back there. Let's see if we can catch an onboard with him right here. Looks like he just had a little bit of an issue. I'm not sure if he got tangled up with iThrash there. Possibly. It looks like they're together right now. Couldn't really tell. It just looked like he got into the wall in the background right there.
Yeah, big trouble there back there for Austin Bomber. Got sideways out of that infamous turn 7. Couldn't recover it. He'll have to lose a time. He's down to 12th place now. 1,000 feet above Quan, who had the trouble before the start of the race. And Quan's just struggling, guys. I mean, he has been all over the walls. He has been everywhere but on pace. Even in qualifying, couldn't figure it out. So I'm not sure what he's going to do for the rest of this race, but he's got to figure it out, guys.
Yeah, indeed. We're going to be riding on board here with T-Sab the Outlaw. One of the drivers who we believe was a contender at Sebring obviously found himself in some troubles late in the race. But looking particularly strong today, finding himself in 3rd place. He could be a contender for the win of this one as well.
Austin Bomber challenging now to get back into the top 10 after his mistake on iTrash. And that is definitely a move that needs to be made now. You need to get as much position early. It's only a 25-minute race. 24 minutes remaining, Chris.
Yeah, and when you look at this, I mean, this is the Mobil 1 Endurance Championship, but this right here is one of the sprint races, and it's also a doubleheader.
Trouble! Turn 7 into the tire barrier. He recovers.
Let's move to him.
You mentioned that. We jump back to Quan here on board. Still driving through the final part of this circuit right here. like you mentioned,
Really
he just
having a hard time
cannot find the
recovering.
pace.
He's having a lot of trouble, Chris, and II Trash, of course, having trouble as well. Now down to the 12th position. I don't know what he's going to do. He's got to find the pace.
Well, yeah, I mean, these guys don't have a ton of time to make a move. As I was alluding to just a couple minutes ago there, it's a 25-minute or a 30-minute race, and these guys, they're going to have to find their moves as quick as possible. You don't have time to be driving around and just waiting for other people to make mistakes, although it looks like that's kind of happening in this race already.
Quan struggling into the fountain, nearly loses it. He is really finding a loose race car right now, Chris.
Close battle for third place.
Close battle at third place. We hear from Junior. Junior, what's going on for third?
Petty Blue ahead. T-Sab the Law is up on him. There's a quite battle good going on right now. 3 cars, Ray Hall, T-Sab, and Petty Blue.
Well, let's go ahead and take a look at that as they battle through the streets of Long Beach here in California.
T-Sab the Outlaw running that famous martini-themed livery right there. Kyle Cuthbert's in the background right there.
Oh, he makes it around.
Petty
Trouble!
Blue had an issue.
Petty Blue turned around. What a run that's going to be ruined a little bit here. 22 minutes left on the clock.
And these guys, we already see them pushing for moves. And it's not surprising at all. At a track like Long Beach, you can't afford to make mistakes. It looks like we have iThrash out there on the outside there. He's actually just parked up near the wall. I'm not sure if he has any issue. We're going to go back and take a look at what's going on with his car.
Quan wrecks again, Chris, at the back.
iThrash looks like he's just parking the car right now. He is having a miserable race. He's sitting the final car on track right now in 12th place. Back with Quan, like you mentioned, he's not having a great race himself either. But he's still keeping the car.
At this point, these guys just need to figure out, okay, let's get this track understood. Let's learn something today rather than just riding at the back, crashing constantly. Let's focus on hitting our apexes, hitting our marks, and finding a way around this track. Because currently what they're doing isn't going to work. I mean, they're not going to learn anything. They're not going to become...
No, with
Talking
these...
about hitting the apex perfectly, Durable Monkey's out here in front is really showing his stuff.
With these
Yeah,
split
Durable.
races, we weren't really expecting to have any traffic, but it looks like that actually might be a possibility with some slower prototypes lapping the field.
How? Chris, that means they're losing just about 3 seconds a lap to the leader.
Yeah, but you
And-
look at some of these drivers we've seen struggling. I wouldn't be surprised at all to see some traffic before the end of the race.
I wouldn't either, but I don't understand how you can be that slow. Excuse me. Good Lord. Durable Monkey's putting on a clinic today. I don't know if anyone's going to touch him, Chris.
No, I really don't think so. This guy's proven himself at Sebring. He's probably the best prototype driver in the series right now. As I say that, he actually clips the curb into turn 1, gets it up into the wall, no damage done. Lost a couple tenths there, but overall, he's still trying to find that rhythm. JG Fan finding himself in 2nd place. Another strong driver from Sebring.
He's got a long 20 minutes left, Chris, and that is the biggest challenge left for him. And good Lord,
Battle
it's
for
gonna
third is intensifying.
it's gonna take him
T-Sab
a
and
lot.
Rahal.
T-Sab and Ray Hall going at it for third as juniors in state.
Oh, Rahal just hits the wall right
Rahal.
as we hit his camera angle. Let's see
Trouble
how he
for
recovers
Rahal.
from this one. Petty Blue goes
trouble.
by him.
JG Fan.
JG fed around. Oh, look at this! Look at this!
And now 2nd place is up for grabs.
Hey, Bubba.
T-Sab
Oh,
and JG
that-
Fan right now. The battle is on for 2nd place. These are some valuable points in the championship right here.
That wreck by Ray Hall was just hilarious, Chris. I mean, you saw him doink off the wall as soon as you got to him. Oh my!
Yeah, a little bit of a commentator's curse without even saying anything.
Oh my!
These guys into turn 1, I'm noticing a little bit of locking up going on to turn 1 right there. T-Sab hits the wall.
T-Sab.
Right as I say, that's a second
T-Sab.
commentator's curse in this.
Oh no!
Will he recover?
Hi, Bubba. Durable Monkey's out to a comfortable lead, and with all the chaos behind him, I am happy for him, man. He's getting the race he wanted last week, this week. He's driving away, dominating the race, and not going to take anything from anybody.
He's got about 1,000-foot lead on second place.
Absolutely. Clearing the field.
Durable.
And you may
catching
be
up to a
able.
lapped car.
Yes, at points you may be able to hear the race director Frankie Fresh in the background. The booth here in Long Beach, very small. Race directors and commentators share the same booth, so that's why
Honestly,
you may be
getting a
able to
lot
hear
of
him calling the
notifications
race.
here about drivers. Some drivers are not happy with the way others are racing. They're not happy with the track limits. Frankie's trying his best to enforce all those for this race. We're going to take a look at the corner most being the biggest issue. Right there, you actually saw Durable Monkeys cut it a tiny bit there. That's the line that drivers are complaining about people cutting. It's going to give you a decent advantage if you can successfully cut that. Durable Monkeys, though, coming up at the back of Quan right now. Let's see if it's a big issue for him. Might just get by him on the straightaway. Almost a tap right there. Not quite.
We're being corrected. I was mispronouncing II Thrash's name earlier. II Trash. Well, I don't know if I'm far off because he's currently running last. So.
Going back to cutting corners, I mean, you have to put this into factor. The track changes every single lap. So it's hard to keep the same pace every single lap, of course.
Yeah, that's true. However, we do see some of these guys blatantly trying to find an advantage by cutting some turns. It's not really what you want to see. However, sometimes the race director can't keep his eye on everything, and some drivers will just try to find that little advantage to give him a couple tenths per lap.
You know, during my racing days, when I would see that, I would record it, Chris. You know, I felt the responsibility to report it and just make it known that, look, these guys are cheating. They're taking advantage of the track limits, and, well, it's not allowed.
Oh, recording it's the only way to prove a point, of course.
Absolutely, Junior. You and I have some recordings of each other from back in the day, I'm probably sure, because we had a bit of a rivalry going down back then. But here we are today, having a good time.
T-Sab, the outlaw,
Glad to be
pulling
here.
out
Glad to
on
be here.
Petty Blue a little bit. You see right there, he's running the optimal line. That's the line you want to run. You're not going to get any complaints from the stewards for running that line. Overall, a decently clean run through for T-Sab. We saw him have that incident earlier, but right now he looks like he's running pretty consistently. Going to get good third-place points if he can stay where he is. He still has Petty Blue behind him, along with Ray Hall.
Obviously, T-Sab the Outlaw, a championship contender, Chris. No doubt about it. He has the pace, he has the car, and, well, he's going to go for it this season.
Yeah, absolutely. You see his line's pretty consistent, maybe just not as fast as Durable Monkeys is. Actually, a little bit of a wide line right there. It gets on the throttle. A lot of wheel spin out of that last turn. Looks like we have a battle for fourth between Ray Hall and Petty Blue. We're going to jump back to that one right now.
Very close battle indeed.
And, folks, don't you think we're done once this 25-minute session is up, which is currently has 15 remaining? We have a whole nother race and qualifying session coming at you of the M1EC GT Series featuring Junior Norris. Junior, what are you looking forward to in this afternoon's race?
Of course, the podium. You know, any driver looks forward to the podium, of course. All the sweet victory, the champagne, all the confetti.
Oh, yeah.
The thing about this track is keeping your car off the walls. Whatever you do, you need to keep your car off the wall.
And the tires, too.
Of
as
course.
they get spread out.
Yeah.
And like I was saying earlier, the track conditions change almost every single lap on this track. It's hard to keep the car on the track and weaving around traffic. It's good that they separate the prototype and GT field, or this race would be very hectic with having both classes on the field.
I know. Oh, no doubt about it. What a move by Frankie, because honestly, I don't think it can be handled. As we see the leader coming to lap our 10th place runner, Quan.
We still have a nice battle brewing here for fourth place. We're going to jump on board with Rail Fanatic 15. be quiet ourselves here for a few minutes here. You can enjoy a nice little M1EC Crank It Up.
Insert little volume toggle.
Okay,
thingy.
maybe not so long there.
Oh!
Petty Blue gets into the wall in the fountain section. Kyle takes advantage of it. A little bit of contact. Kyle hits the wall himself there. Obviously a crazy incident. I don't know how many times we're going to curse this race today, but it seems like every single time we focus on a driver, they start running into issues. Maybe we should stay off our leader, Durable Monkeys, here for a little while.
I think we should, Chris. Oh my, what a dirty move. Just got spun coming out of the fountain. Oh, good lord.
I don't believe there was any contact involved. I think he just got loose on his own.
Chris, go back and watch it. It was bad. So here we are, 12:45 remains. All that's left between this driver, Durable Monkeys, and a victory at Long Beach, a prestigious race, and a celebration on Ocean Boulevard as you see the sun setting down. How incredible that sight is entering turn 1, Chris.
Yeah, obviously it's fantastic for all these drivers. A little bit of a sunset condition going on here. These drivers are racing at night, not the traditional midday that we usually see from this race. The GT race is coming up very soon, and we're expecting some similar conditions from that one.
Now, for the GT race, obviously they haven't qualified yet. I'm expecting a classic battle between Frankie Fresh and Junior Norris. These two, Junior, you guys are going to go after it today, man. And I'm looking forward to it. I already know it.
Sitting here biting my nails already. I mean, Frankie, I've raced with him a long time since the birth of M1EC. I never was able to keep up with the pace of him. It just takes practice, dedication to get to the speed of where it needs, to become a champion.
We were talking earlier, Junior, and I told you, you get to the lead, you're going to win. And I still hold by that prediction. If you can get out front, say you qualify second, get them into turn 1, and you hold them off for that race, I think you can do it.
It's a close battle. And of course, lap traffic, that's what's gonna separate us if there is any lap traffic.
Yeah, hopefully the GT hold it together better than the prototype.
It should be a close race. It should be very close. Prototype's always a type of class, that separates itself. GT usually, they stay intact and with each other.
Yeah, man.
I just went back and looked at that contact we had between Petty Blue and Ray Hall a couple laps ago. I should say actually lack of contact. It looked like Petty Blue just ran way too wide into the fountain turn. He hit the wall himself, and then Kyle really had nowhere to go. It's a very tight section of the track. In fact, probably the tightest section of the track, and just ended up getting into the back of him. But definitely Petty Blue kind of threw that on himself from the beginning.
Petty Blue and Andrew battling right now for 6th place.
Take a look at JG Fan right now. He's still pretty far back on our leader, Durable Monkeys. Durable Monkeys already heading up to turn 1. He's got pretty much a whole front straightaways advantage over JG Fan.
The battle for 10th place is not going to be heating up anytime soon because last place we have Quan Quan. And he's wrecked again, guys, if you believe it.
Take a look at Andrew. Look at this battle right now between Petty and Andrew.
Oh, look at this. Look at this.
We are live right now. Petty Blue. He's just trying to find a move. He's furious with himself after that move into the fountain turn. He's looking to go on the outside into the final hairpin. I don't think that's a line you want to take. Getting a lot of wheel spin out of the last turn there. And you want to get these cars grounded, okay? I've raced Corvette DPs around Long Beach. In fact, I actually won here. It was one of my few M1EC victories. And the last turn is a big struggle. I remember I was racing Frankie for the victory back in Season 2. And the problem is you need to get the power down. If you get a lot of wheel spin, you're going to be slower come the end of the straightaway. So you really have to find a way to get that power down.
Oh, Andrew lost it. Hit the wall inside corner. Petty's right up on him now. This is close, guys.
Struggling. Petty there to try and strike on the mistakes. 9 minutes remain. What's going to happen?
Well,
Andrew's
it's full
really
of
holding his
unknowns
ground
right
for
now.
5th.
It's completely full of unknowns. You don't know. I mean, Durable Monkey, our leader, like I said, with a full front straightaway advantage, he could lose this race by hitting the wall. I mean, it's going to take a massive miracle for him to be out of this one. But these two guys right here battling for 5th place, these are some pretty hectic points still on the board here. And, I mean, neither driver wants to sacrifice that position.
And, you know, watching the prototype race, you can see why Frankie doesn't put the damage on. These guys would be done on lap 1. It's pretty simple. I mean, it would be nice to have the damage on as some sort of a restriction for these drivers. Like, say, hey, stay off each other, or it's going to hurt you. But overall, it's the right call, especially for this track with these drivers.
This
Andrew
battle for
Petty
5th
catching
place.
up to lap traffic.
Yeah, I was about to say this battle for 5th place right here, catching up to Quan back there, I believe in 10th place at the time. Andrew still holding that slight advantage.
Yeah, Andrew's really holding his ground here. He's looking like he really wants that 5th place position right now.
We just saw a race official there, Frankie Fresh, parked in that turn that we were talking about earlier. All the drivers trying to cut it. He has his eye on it, and he wants to make sure that these drivers aren't going to take advantage there.
What a move by him, honestly. I mean, that corner, very easy to cut, very easy to get away with. And you
Petty
can see
hits the
them.
tire barrier.
Oh, no. Oh, no.
Scrubbed off a couple 100 feet that he had on Andrew right there.
He'll have to reel it back in. Frustrated, obviously, with himself. So many mistakes today, guys.
Yeah, he's just trying to bring it home clean at this point. I mean, there you go, a little bit more wheel spin off the turn there. Look at the run that Andrew just got on him right there. Andrew took that turn perfectly. He got the power down as best he could, and look at that run he just put down on Petty Blue on the straightaway.
And you weren't kidding about putting the power down, keeping the tires on the track. It benefits so great out of that last corner.
Well, because it's the longest and fastest part of the track. I mean, if you were to get a little bit of wheel spin out of this fountain section right here, not really a big problem. It'll cost you a couple hundredths, a couple tenths. But if you get a lot of wheel spin out of that final turn, that's going to cost you quite a bit of time because it's going to hurt your top speed. And also, it's probably the hardest turn to get the power down out of because it's an extremely slow hairpin. It's the slowest part of the track leading on to the fastest part.
Mm-hmm.
We're going to take a look further back in the field here at A.H. Drayton. We talked about him earlier in the Mantra Simca throwback. He's running in 8th place right now, not really where he wants to be. He had high expectations coming into this race. Unfortunately, just looks like he isn't getting the run that he expected.
Yeah.
He doesn't have anybody close on his butt, so looks like he's got 8 solid, keeps the car on the track. He might be able to catch up to Austin Bomber.
He's going to have to come away with those points and just be okay with it today, guys. I mean, it's very simple. If you can get some points, you can keep in this championship fight. But what the pace Durable Monkeys is setting after winning last week and coming to this week and absolutely running this field over, I don't know if anyone's going to be able to contest him for this championship.
Andrew and Petty back neck and neck right now, 5th place.
As you say that, Rahal Fanatic 15 and T-Sab the Outlaw. Looks like T-Sab's a little bit out in the distance there, but Kyle could be catching him. We're going to go back to that battle, though, that you all want to see between Andrew and Petty Blue.
There we go. Battle is on.
This is what racing is, guys, right here.
Look at this. Look at this.
I mean, yeah, it's fun being up in the front and all, but when you're in a close battle with somebody, it's it makes things so much, a lot more enjoyable.
Yeah, absolutely. Some of the greatest moments from back in the day, greatest memories, come from intense battles. It doesn't matter whether you're battling for first or for last. It always has significance, and it always really just has a special feeling in your heart when you can put down a battle, especially if you come out on top.
5 minutes remain, Chris.
Well, it's a very crazy one right now. I believe we might have Andrew here as our in-race reporter. We had contact with him earlier. Andrew, do you have a copy on us? Andrew, this is Chris Aurelio up in the booth. You got a copy? Obviously, he still has a copy with us. Andrew, you're in a tight battle right now. We really don't want to just distract you right now, but just quick update on how the race is going. You're battling for 5th right now. Only a couple minutes left.
Yeah, it's pretty good. I mean, our car's been a little off pace, but overall, pretty happy. Just really tight battle with Blue behind me, but trying to do all we can to keep him behind.
You sound so relaxed. I mean, are you even racing? Is there a bot racing your car? Or?
Very much so. No, just trying to keep calm. That's what you gotta do.
I think we
Andrew,
need
the
to
Iceman.
send a little bit of the intensity over to Andrew right now because we're getting it all from him.
Yeah, no question. Andrew, we wish you the best of luck in these final 3.5 minutes. Have
Thank you.
fun, buddy. That was Andrew. And, man, he just seems way too calm to me in this race.
Yeah, we're going to be catching up with him after this race concludes. Just a couple minutes left, like you said. Him and Petty Blue are now still throwing down the battle.
Wow. This battling is insane, guys. My goodness.
And it's hard to get prototype battles so close nowadays.
Yeah, I mean, these cars, they generally race more spread out than GT cars. They're faster. They require a lot more attention when you're trying to get the power down. So generally, the battles aren't as close as you'd find from GT cars. But, I mean, it looks like these two guys right now are trying to prove us wrong. Still just neck and neck coming into these final few laps here.
We have Quan blocking somebody.
Going to take a look back quickly at Quan just to see what's going on here. He's actually blocking Austin Bomber right here. Austin Bomber trying to put a lap on him. He's finding himself in 7th place right now. Not the greatest race for him, but still extremely frustrating when you get in traffic, especially when they don't want to yield that position.
You know, he's had plenty of opportunity to yield it, Chris, and I think Frankie will have to take a look at this because it's got to be frustrating for Austin Bomber to be back in this field, having an okay run, and just keeps getting blocked. It's blocking.
We just saw Quan get into the barrier there. He's still battling with Austin Bomber right now. We have Durable Monkeys there in the background. He's going to need to try to find his way through Quan as quick as possible.
This could get ugly, guys.
This could be the Nightmare and Durable Monkeys' dream. I mean, you've led all race, and now you're seeing this in front of you, Chris. I don't know what to do.
Yeah, let's see if they can try to make a move here on the straightaway. I don't know. It looked like Quan actually got a good run on a final turn there.
I mean, he's slowing him down so much in the corners that he just gets thrown to the gas first.
Yeah.
And he's impossible to get around.
And this is such a difficult track to pass. Probably the hardest passing track we'll visit all season long.
I mean, he's 2 laps down to Durable Monkeys at this point.
We just
he
saw,
needs to yield.
We just saw our leader, Durable Monkeys, there get into Austin Bomber.
Through the fountain. My goodness.
Durable Monkeys, I can understand his frustration, but obviously that's not a clean move. Frankie's probably going to be taking a look at that after the race if Austin Bomber decides to challenge it.
Well, it wasn't Durable Monkeys. It was Quan who put him straight into the wall, Chris.
I believe it was actually Durable Monkeys.
No. You look at it, it was Quan shoved him into the wall on exit.
Gave
him no room, no space to go.
We're going to have to take a look at that post-race. I'm pulling up the replay as we speak just to verify this incident. We're going to take a look back at our battle for 5th place, though, between Andrew and...
for 3rd.
You can hear the race director there talking in the background. Petty Blue actually pulled a huge advantage there. I'm not sure what happened while we were off Andrew, but Andrew finding himself solidly back in 6th place right now. Lost that advantage that he had.
Very intense. T-Sab and Ray Hall.
Taking a look at that incident just a couple laps ago at the fountain section, it actually was Durable Monkeys who got into the back of Austin Bomber. Quan just was holding up the entire pack there. I'm not sure if Durable Monkeys was expecting that backup. Sounds like we have trouble. What part of the track are we talking here, Junior?
Just a little fender bender between T-Sab and Ray Hall, keeping it really close for top podium 3rd position right now.
T-Sab and Ray Hall, the battle is on here for the final podium position, and the race is actually over as I say that. That'll do it for the prototype race here. Coming up with the race results just in a couple seconds here. There you go, Durable Monkeys putting it down 2 in a row for him in his Ford Riley Daytona prototype, followed by JG Fan 1234. T-Sab the Outlaw, Rail Fanatic 15 finding himself 5th, Petty Blue 43 in 5th, Andrew Das Racing in 6th, Austin Bomber 248 7th, AH Drayton in 8th, AJH 280 Racemaster in 9th, Quan in 10th, and we have a couple lag-outs from this race. XXJL Nation 22XX finishing 12th, actually it would be 11th place, sorry. JG Fan 2496, we have 2 JG fans in this race coming in 12th, and Thrash coming in 13th overall in this race. Now we're going to try to get a quick interview here with our in-race reporter, Andrew Das Racing. Do you have a copy on us?
I do.
Andrew, that was a very hard-fought battle that we had between you and Petty Blue at the end there. You want to just talk about where you lost all that ground, because we actually were focusing on the leader at the time.
Yeah, we were running pretty good. He was just all over me, and I made a slight mistake going. I think it was turn 5, and just ran a little wide, and he got under me, and then from there on, it was just kind of, he had a little more pace than I did. But overall, good day for the Central Florida Motorsports team. Just happy with the car and how everything felt, and hopefully next week we'll have our full team back and run a little bit stronger.
How difficult was the passing in this race? Obviously, this is a track that some of the drivers weren't looking forward to coming to. We actually had a couple of drivers just come out and blatantly say they're skipping this round because they didn't want to get into trouble in this race. Was passing really a difficult struggle at this race, or did you find that it was actually pretty easy to put some moves down?
I mean, in the beginning, I made a stupid mistake and fell to the way back on the start, so getting back up to, I think, 6th or 5th or wherever, I mean, it was pretty good. I mean, I don't think we had the pace to pass the guys way up front, but I mean, the few guys in the bottom half of the field, I mean, it was pretty easy, but it just depended on who you were racing, and overall, I think the Chevy DP's pretty good here, but, you know, it is how it is. People can say what they want, but overall, I thought it was a good race.
You're coming from the prototype category, obviously. Durable Monkeys, we were talking about him all broadcast. He just seems like the dominant driver this season. Do you think you're going to be able to catch him in the future races?
Maybe. I mean, we'll see what we can do to maybe get our cars a little bit faster, a little more stable. We've been working on that the first few rounds, just trying to get the car more comfortable for myself. One of our team drivers, Cole Fralick, he's pretty quick. I think he can actually contend with Durable Monkeys, but, you know, circumstances happen. He couldn't make it tonight, but I think out of the 4 of us on the team, I think Cole's definitely the one that can run him down and beat him.
Absolutely. Thank you so much, Andrew, for joining us on this post-race interview. Best of luck to you in the next race, and great job on a 6th place finish.
All right, guys. Thanks.
Amp, you could hear him right there. He sounded pretty calm and collected. Well done effort by him in this entire race. You just want to keep your cool. You don't want to start stuffing it into the wall. Overall, how would you rate that performance from Andrew? I believe we may have actually lost Amp. Junior, are you here right now?
Right off Nag 15, loud and clear.
Okay. All right. We've actually lost our 2 co-commentators. Don't know what happened to their mics. But we are joined here with Rail Fanatic 15, our in-race reporter from the last race, joining us for a post-race interview here today. Kyle, how would you say that performance was overall?
Poorly in the beginning. I say we had the mistake in the beginning where I hit the inside wall trying to catch T-Sab. But then we caught back up to him, and yeah, it's just so difficult to pass here, and that's what kept me from a podium. Overall, I don't think we had anything for the leaders. They're in a different zip code right now. I'm hoping once we get to the longer, bigger tracks like VIR, Walking the Glen, Road America, I feel like then I'll have a pretty good shot. But overall, I think we could have had a podium. Sucks with the points to not be third. We'd lost more points to JG Fan, more points than we should have, because we're probably going to beat by him anyways. But it just sucks to not be on the podium. We came so close, made contact with T-Sab in the final corner. Just didn't get on the brakes as much as I could into the final hairpin. But he kept his spot. I believe we made contact with another corner, but it was all in hard racing. And I made contact with Petty in the beginning, and he went into the fountain section way too hard, and then he hit the barriers and came right across in front of me. So I don't know if that's going to be looked at, but if it is, I don't see a penalty coming my way for that. But overall, I don't think we have any penalties from this race like Sebring, and it was pretty clean. It's hard to pass.
What I saw, Kyle, though, wasn't clean. I saw some dirty moves. I saw a lap car blocking the race leader who was 2 laps down.
I didn't see that, though.
I know you didn't, and we're gonna have some people take a look at that because I was just disrespectful to the series.
I know we had Frankie sitting in the corner where everyone was cutting, so I feel like there is going to be some things looked at then, I guess. I thought it was a lot cleaner than Sebring, at least. from a driving point of view, just from racing each other.
Would you
We
say...
didn't have JG Fan taking out lap cars and other drivers.
Now, would you say, I mean, we saw Durable Monkeys put down this dominant performance. Do you think that the Ford just had a slight pace advantage here? I know some drivers, they always like to throw the BOP card around. Do you think it was that, or you just think he played all his cards correct in this race and really built a solid race car?
It's not necessarily the car, I don't think. I think Durable Monkeys, he passed me at Sebring, and it was really clean and smooth. He definitely has a lot more patience than everybody else, and I think that's really gonna pay off. But with the Ford, it really all depends on whether he was running the diffuser and the canards, and that added downforce could have helped him. But I'm not really sure. I never even looked. He could just be that fast. But then again, there were like two other Fords in the race. I want to say there were at least two other Fords, but they were in the same zip code of Durable Monkeys. So he's definitely the we're chasing. I'm not as worried about JG Fan as I am Durable Monkeys. Little when you see rivals there, but it's what it is.
That's going to wrap it up for the prototype race here. We're going to be taking a quick break here ourselves, wrapping ourselves up and just collecting some thoughts and getting prepared for the GT side of things. We'll be back in just a few minutes. Kyle, you'll actually be staying with us. You'll be helping us commentate the GT race from a driver's perspective.
Great trading in the 7-Eleven car.
We are back live from Long Beach for the Mobile and Endurance Championship, round 3 of the championship. Taking a look today at the GT race. Is actually qualifying going on right now. We're tracking Frankie Fresh 332, our Sebring winner, joined alongside in the booth by a couple prototype racers who just got out of the car. We've got Kyle Cuthbertson.
What's up?
And we've also got Andrew Brodsky.
How's it going, guys?
And we also have Amping Up 88 here as well. He is currently having some technical difficulties with his mic, but he will be back hopefully before the race. So guys, obviously you just got out of the car, a very intense prototype race, and we're just taking a look at qualifying here. What do you expect from this GT race here?
Yeah, I'll let Andrew go first.
Well, thank you, Kyle. Thanks, Chris. Just looking forward to seeing the battle between Frankie Fresh and Junior Norris. I know they go way back in the series, and it'll be pretty exciting to watch them battle. But there's a lot of other good guys out there on the track, so maybe a surprise winner. You never know, right, Kyle?
Yeah, the main thing to this race, I think we're going to see, just like the prototypes, is really hard to pass, and you need to be really consistent at every corner, get as close to the walls as you can. And a couple guys might screw up and hit the walls like I did, but that's what you got to do. You got to push every lap and get as close to the walls. Put your car to its limit, and it's only going to be around a 25-minute race, not our usual 45. So you got to get everything out of the car that you can. And like you said, Frankie's definitely the guy that we're all thinking is going to win. Junior's there too, but I think a guy like Shockwave, he could definitely surprise. The BMW is pretty good. There's the Ford GT, the SpaceX car. I think that's who is that? SpaceX car.
I'm not exactly sure.
But I feel like the SpaceX car. I think I've seen him around before. He might be quick. He might be up there. You never know. This is a totally different place than Sebring or Daytona.
SpaceX car is JB0622. Yeah.
Hot
Good
take
looking
here.
car.
Hot take here. I believe the strongest car we're going to see at this track is going to be the Porsche. Because I was talking about this in the prototype race, and this track's all about getting the power down. And the Porsche, obviously, with that rear engine format, is able to get the power down probably better than all the other GT cars we have here today.
Which you probably saw that in the prototype race where the Fords were dominating, because remember I'm pretty sure they are a lighter car, and they could get the power down easier. The Porsche, from our experience in Touring and the Rolex 24 this year, and you in Le Mans too, the car is so good on the power. You basically just put it right to the floor once you hit the apex. It's that good.
Oh, I mean, to counter that, though, it's not so strong in the turn. So actually, especially with some of these sweeping turns, the stability isn't always there. I think that's where we might see a Corvette find an advantage or even a BMW. So I don't know. I mean, it's really just a toss-up race. Looks like Shock Go Crazy is the fastest right now in the BMW. Unfortunately, we don't have live timing results available to us. Actually, Shock Goes Crazy second place now, so we're going to try to track down who the leader is. And it's actually I'm Trip 123 putting in the fastest
guy Frankie
time.
right now is hitting P5.
These guys are here. Only a couple minutes left in this session here. This is obviously bonus coverage. We usually don't bring you coverage of qualifying, but considering it's in between prototype and the GT race, we decided to give you a little bit of an extra taste of what this series is all about. Just a quick 10-minute session here. And don't be concerned if you're new to this and see cars driving through each other. They just aren't being affected by each other in this qualifying session. That way they can put down some clean laps. So right now, it looks like I'm Trip actually putting down a slightly surprising performance, but then again, he did have pace at Sebring, so.
Here's the thing I'm noticing out of Shock and Trip being you got two BMWs 1 and 2. We were talking about cars. Maybe the BMW is a sleeper. It is a bigger car, but I know that car is so stable. Is probably what you need here. And it puts the power down pretty much like the Porsche.
Yeah, I think that the thing that the BMW is getting an advantage with is the stability in the turns, like you mentioned, especially those long sweeping turns, but that thing is also rock solid on the brakes. So these hard braking zones like turn 1, I mean, in fact, if we can ride on board with him here, you'll probably see him have absolutely no issues going into turn 1 right there. Doesn't have any problems getting that thing down. I'm going to actually ride on board with him Trip here for a little while. Sitting second right now. Shock Go Crazy is actually back. He's now in the lead, and guess what? It's another BMW.
Right now we got BMW, Porsche, Corvette, and then I believe another Corvette.
And
another Corvette.
We are joined back in the booth by Mr. Amping Up 88, taking a look still here at GT qualifying. Amp, it's great to have you back.
Yeah, man. We're back and we're ready to go for this race. I'm getting all set up.
I want to take a look at Shock Go Crazy on his onboard through the last sector here. Really just rock solid through those turns. I think
number 14 Seat Geek BMW looks pretty solid.
Let's take a look at how he gets out of this final hairpin here.
Kyle, did you say solid or salad?
I said solid, but I could use a salad right now.
I think we all could, man. Nice chicken Caesar. That's what I'm craving.
Caesar's pretty good.
I'm telling you, man. That's the best salad out there.
I didn't know they had lettuce in Arizona.
Doesn't grow out here, man. we have to import that shit in the freezer.
GT qualifying, everybody. And I believe Shock Goes Crazy is now P2, and I'm Trip took back P1. The BMW fight still goes on.
Yeah, we were talking about Frankie Fresh being pretty much a walk-away winner for this race, possibly, but he's finding himself back in third right now. Actually, looks like my camera selector tool has actually gone broke again, so we're gonna have to switch back to the old faithful mouse here. Taking a look at Frankie Fresh. I want to compare his final sector to those BMWs that we saw, see if he's actually less stable.
Yeah, we got Junior Norris actually running in, I think, P4 here. Yeah. I'm watching him making some laps. He looks pretty quick, just a little bit unstable coming out of that final hairpin, but I really think he'll be one of the contenders.
So when we talk about cars, the Corvette is pretty much an all-around beast. You don't really know when it's going to be competitive, but usually stability and handling-wise, it's always solid. It might not ever be the fastest, or it might not ever be, the slowest. It's always in that middle range, and you never know. It's pretty much exactly like the Corvette DP. You just never know. It's always solid, though.
Did Junior go number 1?
I believe Junior actually improved his time right there. Yes, into first place.
Look at that.
For Salty Pup GDO.
There he goes, P1. He was telling me he wasn't too confident earlier, but
that puts Frankie back to P4. He is out of the top 3 now. We were talking about Junior and Frankie in this battle, and this could be an interesting race now, looking at this qualifying.
And you got to think, GT cars always going to be closer because they usually bring out the more talented drivers, and they have just really done a great job with the GT class this season. I believe Frankie has.
Silently good GT field.
Yeah, I think I heard one of you guys earlier when I was listening in as I was running the track that if Junior, I believe, got out in front, he'd be very hard to pass. I mean, he's starting off pretty good with this qualifying run. I mean,
that's
he's starting
right.
out front, yeah.
Long Beach, I'd say, has to be the most difficult track to pass at on the calendar. And if you're going to make a pass, it's probably going to be on the front straightaway here, or it's going to be a dive bomb. So getting a good qualifying result here is going to be key.
We saw it last race with Durable Monkeys. I mean, he led green flag to checkered. No question who he was going to win that race if he didn't make a mistake. And it's very possible that that could happen again in this race with Junior. I mean, if he can get out front, get a little bit of a lead before anybody who has pace comes up to him, he'll be able to walk away with the win. And here we are.
Here we are at the timing results here. Actually, these results aren't in order, so do not be let down a little bit or confused. I'm not sure why they're fed to us in the wrong order, but you can actually see... actually... Can't see... Actually, yeah, there you go. Salty Pup GDO with a 121.079. Frankie Fresh running a 121.442. I believe Frankie was in 4th, so that's actually...
He jumped up.
We only have a couple tenths right there separating the top cars. I mean, you look around, we have a couple cars in the 121s, a couple in the 122s. I actually think we're going to have a great race on our hands here in GT.
Let's look at it, though. Frankie and Junior and I'm Trip and Shotgo Crazy, those are going to be your 4 that I would pick from for the winner.
This is exactly what I think we wanted to see as Frankie and Junior 1-2 going into turn 1. This is going to be unreal.
Well, Frankie isn't actually alongside him at the start. It's going to be Junior, looking at the results, and I'm Trip. I'm Trip has 2nd place. Shotgo Crazy 3rd, and Frankie's 4th. Yes, top 4 only separated by less than 4/10, so we will have a very close race on our hands. It's going to come down to consistency.
Yeah.
I've preached this. I've preached consistency way too much, but it's really going to come down to that in this one with these cars way too close on pace.
As we lost Amp.
Once again, facing some difficulties. I believe we actually may have Frankie Fresh 332 as our in-race reporter for this race. Not sure if he's talking to the co-drivers right now, obviously, as the race director. So we're going to try to catch up with him a little bit later in the race. Just going to let him do his thing right now. But right now, hot takes. Kyle, I'm going to start with you. What do you think we're going to see in this race?
Well, before qualifying, I would say we were going to see the pole sitter run away with it, but I still have that feeling that Frankie is going to be the guy to beat, and him coming from 4th, that's going to be awesome to watch. I think we're going to see a show out of Frankie today.
Andrew?
Yeah, with Frankie starting 4th, I mean, it's going to show how good of a driver he is, making some good passes, showing all these other guys where they can make time and where they make passes. But, you know, like Kyle said, it's going to be a good race. I think Frankie's one of the favorite, or is the favorite to win, but it'll be a good race to see what goes on, and if they run the lap traffic, what happens.
Yeah, I think it's going to come down to that lap traffic as well. Maybe not so much as the prototype race. These guys look like they're closer bunched after qualifying. But obviously, I think that this could be one of the best races we have this season, just judging off these qualifying results. It's going to be hard to make a pass, but these guys will be fighting very hard, like we saw from both Andrew, you, and Kyle in the last race.
You know, with Frankie being the favorite, and we're obviously just throwing in Frankie and Junior. I think the most intriguing story out of this qualifying now is the BMWs. It's going to be interesting to see what they do as well. Are they going to stick near the top? Are they going to stay consistent and clean? Because remember, qualifying, you put in one flyer, and you're at the top. But the race, you're going to have to put in 25 minutes of flyers to be up front. And it's just going to be, can they stay consistent through the entire race?
We need to look at our drivers, okay? I'm Trip, starting 2nd here today. Had the pace in qualifying, obviously. He had some pace at Sebring as well, just made a couple mistakes. If he can minimize those mistakes for this race, obviously he's a contender for the win. And then we look at Shock. Obviously, another great driver. He has a lot of experience, particularly on ovals, but he's jumping over the road course side of things and proving his worth here as well. So, I mean, I'd certainly expect a lot of great things between those two guys today.
So I believe Tripp and Shock are both guys that have prior M1EC experience, which is great to see.
Yeah, that's correct. What about Junior, though? I think, being the pole sitter, we're kind of overshadowing him a little bit. But Junior, I think, alongside Frankie, is a driver we can preach for consistency. I'll be honest, I was not expecting the Corvette to go P1 there. So, I mean, it'll be very interesting to see what he can put down in this race.
We called Frankie the shoe in at Daytona, and Junior absolutely dominated Daytona. So, I mean, it could happen again. And that would be something for the points, too. Remember, Frankie P2 in Daytona and P1 in Sebring, but I believe Junior finished around 5th. So if Junior can get a win today, that's definitely going to shake up the points and make it interesting there.
No, it was actually reversed at Sebring. It was it was Frankie P1 and Junior P2. So those two are tied in points
Junior
right
finished
now.
P2?
Yeah, those two are tied in points right now. So really, whoever wins this race, unless they both run into huge issues, I believe determines who gets the points lead. Now, these guys are going to be stacking up here, trying to find the correct position based on the qualifying order. We're going to ride along with the pace car. I believe Austin Bomber is our pace car driver for this race. You can see these guys right here being careful. They just got to find the correct position there. I'm correct. Austin Bomber driving in the prototype race now jumps over, and he's the honorary pace car driver for this one.
The only other BMW that we're missing out of the top part of the field is Creamy Steamy. We know Amp's favorite. He's in the rear of the field.
Chris, I want to throw out a quick question for you and Kyle. I mean, if something happens to maybe one of those top 4 drivers that we're all looking to be one of the 4 favorites, who would you pick out of the rest of the field to maybe take over and try to win this race?
Oh, I don't know. That's such a tough one. You have to look through all the driver names. I
have mine. If you,
I think Colton has a lot of potential. Extremer, possibly. Extremer said he wasn't looking forward to this race. Actually, Race Fan 2002 in particular said he was not looking forward to this race. We're going to jump back to him quickly with the Napa Auto Parts Corvette. Actually qualified it pretty well, though. Starting in a respectable starting position. Looks like he's starting around 7th or 8th place. But still, I mean, it's not a long race, but there's still a lot of time for you to make your moves.
I would say Colton Salick right off the bat. He's always had quiet pace. Not always consistency though, but he's always had that quiet pace. And I think I don't see him having the pace for the leaders, but I see him having the pace to be there in the end. Maybe we'll see. And then Mark Demaro, obviously with loads of experience in M1EC. I like that. Extremer, flat out has told us he hates anything that's not a left turn. So it's interesting seeing him in the league, but I don't know. We'll see how he does. Obviously, like I said earlier, JG fan, the only Ford GT here. That's also another interesting fact. The only Ford GT. We'll see how he is. So not really qualified the best, but long race, kind of.
Yeah.
And we got the green flag.
We're green.
It looks like we're getting bad. We have Junior taking the lead with the 2 BMWs hounding him right now. Frankie possibly being overtaken by Colton on the inside. And Frankie keeps the spot. They single file out of turn 1. Colton Salick trying something in the back there. Him into Mark Demaro almost go too wide there. Single file now. Junior, Shock, Tripp, Frankie, Colton, top 5.
Frankie's got to be a little patient here, just trying to make his moves. He doesn't want to make them too early and get himself caught up in some trouble.
Very conservative start.
We were right along there with Frankie on the start, just trying to keep it calm and collected. It looks like we have a little bit of contact there between Colton and Frankie.
Wow.
A lot of wheel spin. He saved it, fortunately. Junior Norris still holding the lead.
Looks like the 2 BMWs are right on him, though. Tripp and Shock are right there, but Frankie, after he got hit by Kurt, it looks like here he's getting closer to the BMW in 3rd. And I believe we had a wreck in that corner before.
Yeah, we're going to take a look at these two right now. Junior Norris and Shock go crazy. Shock's already found himself up in the second place, started third, made up that spot on I'm Trip at the start. I'd like to say these guys are doing a pretty good job of keeping it pretty clean on the start.
Lots of contact in the back of the field around 3 and 4 after the fountain, but other than that, I think we've had a pretty clean start. There's a 4 GT in the back. JV, he looks pretty beat up in the back of the field right now.
Got to keep our cameras here on the lead pack right now. Junior Norris still putting on that show. It's only been around a lap right now.
Shockwave's just inching a little closer each and every corner. He's just getting closer and closer. I think he's just sizing them up right now.
And Colton has taken 4th place from Frankie.
Yeah, I believe we might have.
Wow,
I was just about to say, I believe we had a little bit of contact there between Frankie and Colton. I'm not sure if there was contact. Maybe he just lost it on his own.
Yeah, Frankie is now 7th.
Trying to look at the front of his car, and yeah,
Championship implications.
Looks a little beat up there, but Junior Norris right now, taking a look at live points, Junior Norris has the points lead in GT at the moment, with Frankie sitting way back in 7th and Junior Norris in the lead.
A long way to crawl. Oh, nearly in the back of Extremer there.
Wow.
Okay, Frankie is now going to be the show of this race if he can crawl back to at least 4th. Oh, and he's going to make a... Oh, no, he's not. Thinks better of that move.
Top 3 still battling coming out of the hairpin here. The only thing I see coming out of the hairpin is Junior's a little squirrely coming out. He's just a little sideways, but Shockwave can get out of there a little straighter, but Junior just pulls him down the straightaway a little bit.
The top 3 are still so close. It looks like Trip is kind of fading off a little bit, but 1, 2 are so close still. So close. Maybe trying to get into the rhythm of the race, buy their time a little bit, but it is so close still. Into the fountain. Nice and clean by Junior. A little bit on the curb there, but still nice and clean.
We're going to take a look back up at the leaders. It's really difficult. We want to have multiple camera angles shown at the same time, but unfortunately we can't. Frankie gets by RaceFan 2002. He just let him by, it looks like. When you know a driver's faster than you, you're going to let them by. It's probably the smart thing to do. You don't want to battle them all race long and just end up wasting your time. But Salty Pup GDO, is he? Oh, he's actually, no, he's in 1st. Timing was showing that he was in 2nd, actually. But the battle still rages on between the top 3 right now. Corvette followed by 2 BMWs.
Frankie up to P5 right now, and man, being Colton Salick, if there was contact, if he's sitting P4, I do not want Frankie behind me chasing me. I think
we gotta keep those cameras on them. Yeah, gotta keep the cameras on Colton and Frankie right here when they get closer.
Definitely keep an eye on them.
Yep.
As the lead has gotten closer again, 2nd and 3rd, and Colton is kind of sneaking back up there, kind of Scott Dixon-like, just kind of chilling back and forth in the view of the leaders.
Yeah, I just saw Shock go crazy, hit the wall out of the final turn there. Lost a little bit of ground to Salty Pup GDO. Still trying right now, still trying to find that pace. Looks like I'm Trip might have given a little nudge there into turn 1. Still keeping it pretty clean.
One thing I noticed right there is, like you said with the BMW and the brakes, man, into turn 1, those BMWs just catch Junior so quickly. The battle for 2nd is heating up right now.
Now, here's the thing. These guys, they're both BMW drivers. You know, whether or not they're on the same team, they're still probably going to want to help each other out a little bit. And you're not going to be able to catch Junior when you're battling like this. That's the thing, is these guys, they need to race hard, but they also need to race sensibly.
Yeah, but if you're Trip, you want to get past Shock and you want to go after Junior. If you're Trip, I don't really want to bank on Shock and Junior getting into it. And I believe Trip's already missed a race, so the championship is really something to think about at this point.
Well, yeah, they do get that drop round. I just want to quickly explain that for anyone who may be new here. Drop round is the championship will drop your lowest points race at the end of the season. And that's just meant for people who may have missed a race. You know, it happens. You can't make every single race. But if you miss one race, you'll still be in the championship hunt if you have those results for the rest of the races.
I have some news to report, and Frankie has lagged out.
Oh, has he?
Frankie is gone.
I was about to say I have not seen Frankie further back next to Colton.
Championship implications there.
Yeah, this is massive news for this race. Okay, because he's going to be finishing outside the top 10, I believe, at this point. I mean,
wow.
You look back, yeah, he's going to be, I think, 12th place points coming out of this race. And that's incredible because Junior right now still holding that lead, and he's the Daytona winner. So, I mean, you really can't find yourself with a result like that. Obviously, the drop round, like we were just talking about, may play into Frankie's favor later in the season.
Frankie just
Gosh,
has to
yeah.
prey on those BMWs.
Yeah, because
Yeah, right
Shock's
now.
closing in on Salty or Junior.
Yeah,
He's pulled away
we
from
just-
Colton.
Actually, we lost.
Something happened to Tripp.
Yeah, I was about to. We lost I'm Trip. I'm going to see if I can figure out what happened to him.
wow.
Did he? No, he finds himself back into 4th place. Might have just made a little bit of contact. I don't know. We didn't have a camera on him. But yeah, he's a couple of corners behind the leaders right now. I'm not exactly sure what happened to him.
Wow.
And now we find Colton Salick in the P3, our sleeper.
There he is.
And this has
I'm
only been
Trev.
around 10 minutes into this race. In fact, probably even less.
I think Junior's pulled a little bit of a gap on Shock now. Man, you can see that BMW into turn 1 especially just hounds the Corvette. You can definitely see the decrease in the gap. I've seen Junior get a little squirrely sometimes in the faster part of the track, but I think definitely on the power out of the final corner, I think the Corvette definitely has a bit of a straight line on the BMW.
Taking a look further back in the field here, we have a battle for 6th. It looks like a 4-way battle for 6th between Mark Damaro, Creamy Steamy, Extremer, and I couldn't tell the car in the very back there, and JB0622. These guys really running close right now. Extremer and Race Fan both in Corvettes. They have a BMW in between right now.
I mean, Race Fan 2002 is kind of in like the position I was in earlier in the race, having a guy behind you just hounding you for the laps. I mean, I guess early in the race, you can be a little more patient. If you have to let them go, you let them go. But as the race goes on and the time gets down, you just got to hold on and hope they don't get by you, unlike what happened to me where you make a little mistake. But looks to be a good battle back here.
Actually saw a car around in the background there. I believe that was the 4th in line BMW from JB0622. Finding himself quite a ways back. Looks like he may have just... No, actually, it wasn't. JB is... man, I'm trying to figure out which car that was, but it looked like a BMW further back in the field. Couldn't tell who it was, unfortunately. We're going to ride on board here with Extremer, as we did in the prototype race. Sit back, catch a little bit of a breather, and give you an M1EC. Crank it up. Riding on board right now with Creamy Steamy in the number 47 BMW, hunting down Race Fan 2002 in the number 6 Napa Auto Parts Corvette. Race Fan gets wide there, actually clips Creamy Steamy out of the hairpin right there. He continues on. Both get through. Extremer pulls 6th place right there. It looks like we had an incident with Colton as well. He's finding himself way back in 5th now.
Wow. The battle for the lead, I believe, just got close. I just saw Junior come out of the final hairpin. He tail slapped the wall. Lost a lot of momentum. The 1-2, they are nose to tail. I think Junior might have this. He looks like he has a little bit of advantage, but definitely I think Shock is breathing right down his neck, not making it easy for Junior.
Yeah, Shock right now, trying to put those moves down. We
Whoa,
saw a little bit of a
no,
wall
Shock,
tap right
yeah.
there. That's not what you want to do.
That's going to hurt him.
We're just going to ride on board with him for a little bit here. Compare his lines to Junior.
But Shock's just got to stay calm here, guys. He
Oh,
can't,
now Colton goes
he can't
around Mark
overreact
Tomorrow
to that.
for 4th. They're side by side, I believe. Oh, no, Mark's in the wall.
Mark is in the wall. We're going to jump back to him
Mark
as
is
quick
slow.
as
He
I
is
can.
back to 7th. I think Colton took it too wide and put Mark in the wall. Colton found himself in P5, tried to get 4th place back from Mark tomorrow, went side by side in a place where you probably should not be going side by side, and Mark is in the wall and he's back to 7th.
He's probably going to be challenging that move later. We're going to have to see what he says to the race director. We might see a little bit of a post-race penalty there. Not so sure. Sometimes these drivers are getting off with warnings.
I would say that would probably definitely be a warning first try. But from the onboard I saw from Mark, he was... I didn't see Colton right beside him. I saw them. They were side by side going into the corner, but the way... How inside Mark was into the corner, he looked like he was taking a defensive line. I don't know how Colton where he would have been. Yeah, I cannot wait to see a replay of that for the race.
Still have a battle right now for 4th place, Colton. I think Colton has a pace advantage right now, and to be honest with you, Creamy Steamy and Extremer right now following. I just don't think that they have the pace that Colton does. You can already see he's starting to pull a gap again. Colton made a mistake earlier. Now, if he makes another one of those, that's going to throw him back even more. But right now, I think he's the one who has
he's
the
in
pace
the
on
wall.
the field. I did not see anybody in the wall. I saw there was a
He tapped it. He got
spectator
it
truck
loose.
that we had. That might have been confusing you there, but still taking a look at Creamy Steamy. Extremer looks like he's ready to make a move here. You're going to want to play your cards correct, though. Okay, I think we've seen way too many moves in that final turn there, especially in the prototype race. We saw way too many guys trying to go on the outside in the hairpin, and I can't stress this enough. That won't work, all right? Don't try it. I can speak from experience. It won't work. And that really hurt the run on the straightaway as well when you try to do that. So these guys need to find the right time to make a move.
A little update in the lead. You don't have to throw it there, but it looks like Junior has pulled a bigger gap on Shock. I don't know if something happened with contact, but definitely a huge gap now. It's not looking very good for Shock for the win, but
we
it's solid
talked
P2.
We talked about this earlier, okay? Junior and Frankie, the two most consistent drivers in the GT class, possibly the two most consistent drivers overall in the entire championship. You know, to see either of these two make a mistake is pretty rare. And Junior really looked like he found the pace for that car in this race. So I'm not surprised right now to see the performance he's putting down. Obviously, that might be a commentator's curse. I've had way too many of those happening today. But I'm not surprised right now to see Junior pulling that lead. It'll be very interesting to see if Shaw can pull back up to him.
Speaking championship, we're in race 3 right now out of, I don't know how many, 8 maybe? 9, 10? But races like this, we see it in Prototype 2 where Durable Monkeys has 2 wins. With Junior, if he gets his second win, especially with Frankie DNFing today, do you think for Frankie the rest of the season, you think it's over trying the points race and you're basically just got to send it and go for wins? Or what championship talk, what do you think?
Well, it's a 9-race season, okay? This is race 3. And Frankie, I don't think he's the best driver at Long Beach. You know, he's obviously an extremely talented driver. He just hasn't proved that Long Beach is a track that he's really strong at. But you look at the races that we have coming up. VIR, I think he's particularly strong there. We have Laguna Seca later in the season finale at Road Atlanta. I think that those are some tracks where we're really going to see him throwing down some good results. So I definitely wouldn't discount him right now. It's going to come down to that. It's going to come down to how often you show up to these races. Obviously, I'd expect him to show up to every single race. He's pretty much the race director at these things. So for him to not show up would be a little bit of an odd occurrence. So you're going to need to see these guys make the cut in the rest of the races. They need to hold on to this advantage that they have. I think if I had to pick 2 drivers right now, I think it's going to come down to Junior Norris and Frankie DeSarlo at the season finale.
It's for Frankie to be in it too. I think it's also going to take Junior to have a bad race, like we see it in Prototype. You know, Durable Monkeys and JG Fan, they've been pretty much 1-2 every race, one or the other. And one of those guys, for anyone else to have a shot, they're going to have a bad race. Here, Frankie, he had a second and a first, but now he's going to have a DNF. Even if Frankie finishes first or second the rest of the season, he's still going to have this. Well, actually, he does have the drop around, but it's definitely going to take Junior to have another bad race for Frankie to be back in it.
Taking a look back on board with Shock Go Crazy. That's not the right camera. You can see Junior up there in the distance. You mentioned this a couple of minutes ago. Junior is putting the pace down on him. And like I said, I'm not surprised. I just want to quickly compare the lines that these two are putting. I mean, Shock, I've only been on board with him for a couple turns here, but overall he looks like he's running pretty consistently, and rightfully so. You know, second place is not a bad position. But I just either he made a small mistake or Junior has a small pace advantage on him. But I really wasn't expecting the gap to be this big coming out of qualifying, where we saw the top four between less than 4/10.
Quick run through the field. First is Junior Norris. Second, Shako Crazy. Third, I'm Trip. Fourth, Colton Salick. Fifth, Extremer. Sixth, Karimi Steamy. Seventh, JB. Eighth, Mark Demaro. Ninth, Death by Me. And then that is all of the finishers so far, because the rest of the field is the spectators and the pace car. So 9 cars left in the race. Wow, we've had some more DNS than I thought.
Junior, though, just seriously, what a driver. Coming back really to full season racing, he had a little bit of a hiatus from sim racing, came back, and really what a strong result he's putting on. I think he's come back stronger than ever. You know, back in the days, you know, he's proved that he has had talent, but I don't think anyone was expecting him to come back this strong. I mean, this is really a class of its own performance between him and Frankie. But if Junior can get a second win of the season already out of only 3 races, he's going to prove why he's a championship contender.
For sure. I believe this is the second season, whatever season he ran the Mazda. The Mazda was not the fastest car at Daytona. But then we get to the rest of the season. I believe Junior racked up 3 wins.
He did. He was very dominant with the Mazda.
And then even in season 1, if he would have showed up to every race, he would have been a champion contender in the prototype class with me as well. That gas monkey car was always a villain to me, and no matter what circumstance, something would always go wrong for me, and that stupid gas monkey car would always beat me.
I don't know how many poles he had in that series, but I think he won
the pole every race.
Yeah,
he just always showed up to. I believe he missed 2 or 3 races, which what lost him the championship, basically.
And this is what I'd like to call an all-around driver. Okay, we've seen him competing in sports car races, obviously, with this. We've seen him competing in NASCAR leagues. We've seen him in a prototype car, GT cars, and he's really strong all around. In fact, I think he has wins in all 3 respects. So, you know, like Frankie, he's an all-around good driver, and I guess you could say the same for Shot Goes Crazy. He's obviously a very successful oval racer, hopping over to the road course side of things, proving his worth here as well. So, I mean, the M1EC Mobile and Endurance Championship this season really just proving some of the best drivers that we have available right now.
Really, I don't think many people expected it. We have a lot of great drivers this season. Of course, you know, we have the large car counts, which not a lot of people expected either, which we do. And we didn't expect to have this much talent in the field, but we have loads of talent in the field. We got Junior, Frankie, and then today Shock and Trip. They're really showing us what they have. And going down the field, Mark Demaro obviously has a lot of experience, Extremer, a lot of iRacing experience. Colton's been here. So much talent in the field, and of course, all the top guys in prototype are also great as well. It wasn't really expected, though.
It's very good to see. I mean, over the course of all the seasons of Mobile and Endurance, I mean, we haven't had all the big car counts. We haven't had all these drivers here together at once. We've had them scattered throughout the seasons. So it's really good to see them all actually come together and show what they have on track, and it brings the cream to the crop. So.
I think the only race we really had a ton of people show up to in the past was Daytona. So it's awesome to see. And this year it wasn't even like a big Daytona event. It was the 45-minute regular event. We got pretty much a full stack grid, and we did the same at Sebring tonight. We had like 12 and 12 on each. Of course, we have the lagouts, but it's stacked grids every race, and it's incredible.
I don't think in the history of the series we've had a stack grid for Long Beach, so...
Guys, we had Colton just run into another issue there. Looks like he got into the wall in the middle of the circuit, and he's finding himself just back in the same position he was earlier, battling with Creamy, Steamy, and Extremer.
Oh, wow.
And I said this, he has the pace advantage, but he just doesn't look that consistent right now.
What did I say about Colton always being fast, but not always the most consistent?
Oh, right there, Creamy Steamy trying to dive bomb up to the inside there. Doesn't work. He actually got into the inside wall. Now Extremer has a chance on him on this long straightaway.
don't know, the BMW on those brakes, I think Creamy Steamy's pretty solid in turn 1 here.
Yeah, I'd say that you're well within your right of saying that, Extremer. I think he's just trying to get some decent points on the board for this race. He, like you said earlier, more of an
Hates
oval
right
guy,
turns.
doesn't really like those right turns. So finding himself in a little bit of an awkward position in this championship, but still, it looks like he's enjoying himself out there.
Colton
it back to
Salek
Colton.
cutting the track a little bit there.
Yeah, throwing it back to Colton. I think if he cleans up some of his little mistakes he's made here today, I think he can actually be another one of those contenders we can throw up there with Junior, Shock, and Frankie. I mean, he looks pretty solid when he's not
Here we have
getting into the
Extremer
walls,
on
so.
the outside. Now he's on the inside, and he picks up 5th place there. Very,
What a
very
move.
good move there on Creamy Steamy. That was actually a very admirable move. So finding himself now, I don't think he's going to have the pace to go for Colton, but this could be a battle to the end right now between these two guys.
Definitely a big fan of Extremer right now. You go, buddy. Hates those right turns, and he's doing a great job today.
Also, I'd like to quickly thank him, because if you see any of these races going up on YouTube post live stream a couple week or so after the actual race, they're all edited by Extremer. So just a quick round of applause for him right there.
Yeah, very good.
Good job. Thank you so much for helping our series.
He's gonna.
All right.
He helps our series with the videos, but he'll enjoy this. He also runs the Daytona Cup Series, I'm pretty sure, and he runs the Daytona Cup Series, so go check that out as well.
There you go. You got to shout out your friends here.
He will enjoy that. And Creamy Stevie's gonna try to go up the inside. That's not the best place to do it. Which I mean,
Oh, there
they're
he
still
goes.
side by side.
Side by side. Oh, is he going to cross it over?
He barely was clear there. Respectable. They keep it single file through there. That was the corner I was afraid of.
Watch out for that final section, though. Final section, all the twists and bends. If Creamy Steamy's going to put a move down, it's going to be there.
It looks like the Streamer put a little bit of a gap right there.
Well, we've seen how the BMW's been aggressive in that final sector, so just look out, Corvette.
I'd just like to point this out. You know who's quietly running in 3rd place after all this? I'm Tripp. We haven't really mentioned his name since the start, but he's been pretty clean and consistent. He started 2nd place, so dropped down 1 position, lost it to Shock at the beginning, and it looks like he's just been running 3rd all race long. Doesn't really have that pace to go for the win, but still an admirable result for him so far.
Talk a lot about consistency, and he's doing it today. Looks like his Streamer definitely has an advantage now.
Yeah,
He's got a little bit of a gap to
finding-
Creamy Steamy.
Extremer's finding the car right now. He's really starting to get confident with that car. You know, earlier in the race, and he's new, really. I can't stress this enough. Creamy Steamy into the wall. But I can't stress this enough that he's really a little new and uncomfortable with racing of this style. But really, it looks like he's starting to learn the car pretty quickly right now and putting a little bit of a gap on Creamy Steamy.
Oh, and I know the feeling when you're struggling in a series and you get to a race where you don't think you're going to do very well in mid-race, something just clicks, and you just start putting down consistent laps after laps. It happened to me in Tora in the Rolex 24 this year. In the Tora Rolex 24, it wasn't really comfortable GT racing. Never did it before. First ever race. Then sometime in the middle of the night, something just clicked with that car, and we actually won that stint. And then we went on to win C Lobby. Sometimes something just clicks when you don't feel comfortable, and you just start putting down those consistent laps.
Taking a look at the front of the field against Salty Pup GDO, still leading Shocko Crazy. They actually look closer than when I last checked with them. I'm not sure if Salty has just backed off the pace a little bit. Maybe Shock has ramped up his pace, or maybe Salty made an issue or had an issue. Running up on a little bit of lap traffic soon. Race Fan 2002. He looked like he was getting out of the way of the leaders earlier. We're going to see if he does the same thing here on the long front straightaway. I'd also like to point out Junior's livery for this race. Quite an interesting car. Very space-esque themed.
Going to be interesting to see if Mark Tomorrow just lets him by, or if the lap traffic here will do anything. It looks like Mark's going to slow up in turn 1.
I think we saw Shock actually get into the wall of the final turn back there. He does look a little bit further back right now, and Mark isn't yielding the position right now. He's still going to race for it.
This might hurt Junior a little bit in the slower sections, having a lap car in front.
If Mark does this right, he's not going to slow completely, but he'll give Junior his spot. I don't really know. At this track, passes besides turn one, there's not a lot of passing opportunities. So to do this right with Junior and not lose a bunch of he's in the back
big lock up there.
Oh geez.
Yep,
It's just
Salty
getting
really
tight.
got checked up there. Now he's on.
Boy. Oh, he hasn't
Oh,
gotten by
man.
him still.
Yeah,
Wow.
he's still. Mark's
Oh,
in the
he's in
wall
the
right
wall.
there. Into the wall.
Wow.
Goes Race Fan 2002. But look at the gap right now between first
Shock
and
has now
second.
gained it back.
Now I have to
Wow.
wonder here. I have to wonder this. Obviously Shock and Mark pretty friendly off the track. I'm not sure if that was maybe a little bit of like, hey buddy, let me help you out here.
He's
but it's
on him. He's got a
definitely
car like
put
Austin
Shock in
here.
contention.
Did Junior lock up the brakes? Oh, he's going to do something.
It's
That
right
was a
on him, guys.
huge run into the final corner.
Wow. This race just got interesting,
It's
guys.
just going to depend on how much time is left.
We're gonna
It
ride
could've
on
been
board here with Shocko Crazy.
Shot getting closer could have been could have been two ways. Oh, and that's the end of the
Oh,
race.
Oh, that's the
Junior's
race right there.
Wow.
Wow.
Wow, that was
Congratulations
close
to
in the
Junior.
end.
Wow, what a finish.
Man, one more lap, it would have been a show.
Wow.
Wow.
Really,
We gotta
really
get
close
that guy in here. Oh my gosh.
between
What
those
a-
two
what a
guys.
race.
We're gonna see if we can get a post-race interview here with Salty Pup GDO in just a few minutes. But guys, first takes
Wow.
here on post-race analysis. How would you say that race ranked up?
Lots of drama, especially with Frankie lagging out in the beginning. I think we lost sight of that because that happened so long ago. That's huge in the championship. That's probably the biggest thing coming out of the race. And then the next, Junior winning 2 out of 3 races at the beginning. That's obviously big in the points. And finally, the thing with Mark in the end, it's the fact of if Junior locked up and hit Mark, or if Mark gave him a little brake check. We don't know. We'll see. Mark got into the wall about 3 times during the race, and then all of a sudden, the end of the race ends up being lap traffic. Definitely Shock gave it his all. Shock and Trip, shout out to them. They drove a clean, fantastic race. That was quite a show from them.
Yeah, I gotta
think-
add. Oh, sorry, Chris.
Oh, I'm sorry. You can go, Andrew.
No, I just gotta say, good job to Junior. Congrats on the win. Like Kyle said, it's huge championship implications for Frankie. But I gotta give a shout out to Extremer. I know it's a top 5 for him, but like you guys said, he's not big on the road courses. But top 5 in any road course race, I'd take it. So
Taking a look at the post-race results here, Salty Pup GDO taking home his second win of the season for the Corvette C7R, followed by Shocko Crazy, I'm Trip123, Colton 5503, Extremer 48, Creamy Steamy, JB 0622, Race Fan 2002, Death by Me 00, Austin Bomber was our pace car driver, and our only lag out of this race, Frankie Fresh 332. So I just want to quickly talk here because just towards the end of the race there, I was saying maybe we could see Mark maybe intentionally holding up the back, holding up Junior there so that Shock could catch up. Actually, he heard me on that comment, already corrected me, said that he was trying to get out of the way of Junior, and Junior just wouldn't take the position. Not sure exactly how he ended up in the tires, but that's going to be a question for another time. Are we joined here with Salty Pup GDO?
Yes, sir.
Yep.
All right, Salty, it's been a great race from you. Actually, I'm just going to call you Junior. You know what? That's how we're going to roll here.
Appreciate it.
Really,
I have
really
a name.
consistent and great pace throughout that race. How would you say that one ranked up?
I mean, of course, it went as I wanted it to, but at the same time, it really didn't go as I wanted it to. Yeah, it's great winning and all. I'm not trying to rub it in anybody's faces or anything, but I'm all about the battle, to be honest with you. I heard that there was a good battle going back in 4th place. I don't know who it was, but the whole same time I was thinking, man, it'd be a lot of fun being back there with those guys. But yeah, great race, good sponsors, Sun Energy and SpaceX. Great race from Long Beach, a short little 25-minute sprint race. Didn't go that bad at all. Pretty clean, no incidents. Just caught up a few lapped cars, but they have they did their rule, what they were supposed to do.
What's it like, though, knowing that Frankie Fresh lagged out of this race? Obviously, it was tied between you two coming into this race. He lags out, you win. What's that going to mean for you in the points?
Kind of just, I mean, it hit me hard, like, oh man, I know how that feels, but it puts me at a good spot in points just in case I miss a race, which I don't plan on missing any, but puts me up there and puts my name out there, which and all my sponsors. So I thank everybody.
We have VIR coming up as the next race. Pretty strong track of yours, I'd say. You excited for that one?
Oh, VIR is a blast. I love VIR. The roller coaster, it's just a dream. It's my highlight of that track.
All right, Junior, thank you so much for joining us on this one. Congratulations on the win.
Congrats,
hope
Junior.
to see you in the future.
Thank you so much, guys. Take care.
All right, quick wrap-up thoughts right here. We have... All right, so that's round 3 of the race, of the championship, I should say. We still have 3 rounds remaining. We're going to VIR, then Lime Rock Park, Watkins Glen, Road America, Laguna Seca, and rounding it all off at Road Atlanta. So you two are both prototype drivers, so I guess you can kind of speak for yourselves here. Which track are you most looking forward to coming up?
Road America. Easily. Sebring and Long Beach felt the same, actually. Like, the tracks that don't feel permanent. Same with Daytona. I just can't wait to get to do a permanent racetrack next week at VIR. That it's going to be fun. I think that's definitely where I'm going to excel more than Daytona, obviously. But Road America for sure is the one I'm looking for. I think we're going to get a lot of battles in prototype. The brakes are so good in these Daytona prototypes that we're definitely going to see a lot of passing, a lot of action. And if we saw a GT race just like we saw at Long Beach at Road America, I think we're going to get a huge show. And I hope these GT cars, I hope they aren't battling like they do when they're in front of me and I have to pass them.
When they're coming through. We don't want that. No, I think for our team, I think we're looking forward to like Watkins Glen. I know for myself, I'm looking forward to the season finale at Road Atlanta. I'm very comfortable with that track. A lot of the higher speed tracks I do enjoy. I think next week for us, VIR is going to be a little bit of a struggle, but we'll go over there and practice a little bit this week and see what we can do. But overall, I think I'm excited for the rest of the season and see where we come out in the points. But it'll be fun battling with Ray Hall and all these other guys that are in prototype and GT. So
We have a new track on the championship coming up soon in the form of Lime Rock Park. Very tight, twisty track, very fast track. Any expectations going into that one? I know it's 2 races away and you're probably more focused on VIR right now. But that's a new track to the championship. What do you have to say about the addition to that?
I think VIR is a new track too. But even Lime Rock,
yeah, actually is. You're correct.
Even Lime Rock, I think that track's going to be harder to pass than Long Beach. It's so fast. I think there might be, depends on what layout we run, but there might be one passing opportunity at the track. I don't know. That's going to be a weird race.
yeah, and I don't know what Frankie's going to do about the GT prototype field at Lime Rock, but if he puts them together, I think it's going to be a really interesting race because I know prototypes can lap around there pretty fast. So just see how we get through lap traffic if he leaves them together or if he separates them like he did at Long Beach.
Like even a pass in turn 1 at Lime Rock, it's so risky. It might even be riskier than a pass at Long Beach. Like that's gonna be a really tough place to pass. So you definitely got to nail the qualifying setup. Same with VIR. VIR is a track where I've noticed that it's so hard to tune for. So it's going to be an interesting race next week and at Lime Rock.
All right, that's going to wrap it up for this week's coverage of the Mobile and Endurance Championship. Thank you to everybody who tuned in live and for everybody who's tuning in on the replay on the Mobile One Endurance YouTube channel. If you want to check out the live races, Deductive Rain is the channel on YouTube. A little bit of a self-promo there, but obviously these are very fun to produce and very fun to have you guys along for the ride. Hopefully we'll be doing a few more of these this season. There will be some races where, for reasons you'll find out in the future, we can't do this, but that's for another day. But thanks so much to you two for filling in on this one, giving a little bit of some insider information, being prototype drivers yourselves. And we'll be back next week at VIR with the combined field once more.
So when you do your race at Lime Rock, are you gonna record it for YouTube?
Probably not.
Well, you should, because you'll have it on PC.
Yeah, but I don't know.